The Lower Mattagami River project, sponsored by Ontario Power Generation, was the largest project that they've done in 40 years in hydroelectric. They took an existing river system, existing reservoirs, and increased the capacity considerably with very low environmental impact.
So OPG wanted to achieve two goals. Goal number one is to upgrade, the existing 4 stations located at the lower reach of the Mattagami River. And goal number 2 is to use the effectiveness and the quantity of waters which will pass through the stations.
The existing facilities were built initially in 1920s by the paper company, and Ontario Hydro came along in the 60s and developed 3 other adjacent hydro stations. And there was a mismatch. The flows were not balanced down the river, and the old one, as you might imagine, was undersized. So this was an exercise to get everything in sync, balance the capacity down the river, and make a much more efficient generation.
The project will deliver a 500 megawatt additional, to the hydroelectric capacity to the Ontario electricity system. The project also will generate clean, renewable energy to power roughly around 450,000 homes.
Hatch, I think, was actually originally involved in the early 90s when we did the original study to look at different options for the site and how we would configure updating the older Smoky Falls site. And then when we restarted in mid-2000, it was natural to go back to Hatch, who had supported us before, to really go back to those details and get into more technical reviews of the different options that we had. So they helped us support that, and we came up with an option for the project that we see now. We wanted to go to one-party turnkey, so they would design it, build it, commission it, turn it over to OPG. Hatch had been our owner's engineer, so they had an option of bowing out of that role and maybe trying to align themselves with another party to do the design-build work, but quite wisely and quite thankfully for us, they chose to remain on as our owner's engineer. And really we elevated their role not to just being the owner's engineer, but the owner's representative on site.
70% of the workforce was drawn from the local communities. It means Kapuskasing and the surrounding area, which peaked roughly at 1,100, 1,200 people on site during the construction.
The Lower Mattagami project is rather unique in terms of its ownership model. Ontario Power Generation is the lead partner, but they took on the Moose Cree First Nation as an equity partner in this project. The Moose Cree First Nation needed and wanted this opportunity. It's had a huge impact on their community, and the spin-off benefits during the construction period of employment and business opportunities and training were huge.
The time when First Nations were acting, as spectators on a project is gone. I can add also that the 25% of the workforce were First Nation. Moose Cree, they can say today that they have carpenters and steel fixers and painters.
The Lower Mattagami project is literally at the end of the road. You go to Kapuskasing, you turn north and you drive till it doesn't go any farther, and it's the end of the road, literally, and it's probably as far north as many of the workers had been, apart from the First Nation. A camp that would accommodate 1,200 workers is like a mini city. We had a visit from one of the municipal leaders who said, I would love to have the infrastructure resources that are associated with this camp in his community, because they just couldn't get funding to do these kind of things with a modern sewage and modern water system, recreational facilities. It was really quite special. It is in a northern climate for sure. Winter is harsh, winter is long, and adds complexity to doing what in many respects is outdoor construction. So there are ways in modern construction to address cold weather climate and work in cold weather, and that involves winter shelters that were constructed specifically to allow progress in construction, auxiliary heating, tarps, and mittens and hats. So it was definitely a winter experience that most of us will remember for a long, long time. On the Smoky Falls excavation works, it was discovered that the rock conditions were poorer than imagined. The resources brought to bear on that problem solved it and allowed the project to go forward and to be built with very minor scheduled delays, which were successfully recuperated.
We used what we call it in our language a cellular type cover dam. I have 37 years of experience. This is the first time we're using, big structures like that. Usually we use cellular cover dam to divert a river, where there will be like 3-4 meter high compared to 20 meter high. It's an innovation. I think it's the first time we're using this type of cover dam in North America.
This was a complex project, a long project, and a significant project. And we're proud to say that the project was completed ahead of schedule and under budget. Schedule aspects were measured on the unit in service date, commercial operation, commercial generation, and when those units go online, it's an immediate benefit to OPG, the client, the owner, for revenue. And so having a unit go online before schedule is a bonus to OPG in terms of generation revenue and to the First Nation partner. So that was very welcome, and the contractor enjoyed benefits through a bonus incentive plan as well. So it was a win-win and the results of a significant team effort.